right, guys, you know what? I wasn't going to make another video today, but I started watching a little bit of this, and, I saw this years ago. But now that I got a YouTube channel, I actually want to speak on this clip, man. Because these are the debates that we're having every day, and some of the questioning and the stuff is just very ridiculous, and Jordan Peterson does a great job of explaining himself. But I want to come from my point of view on why I find some of these questions ridiculous. And so I'm just going to pause, ask the questions come up, and
around the corner here in Westminster. So Jordan, you've done endless interviews. You've been publicising your book, and they've generated plenty of heated debate.
And I actually sold out the Apollo. It had 5,000 seats.
All right, stop boasting. Do you think, though, because of the heat that has been generated, that your views have been misrepresented at times?
Oh, definitely, but that's, that's part and parcel of the process. I did take a very forceful stance, let's say, against some of the excesses of the radical left-wingers, and it's in their best interest to paint me as somehow a figure of the extreme right, because then I don't have to be contended with. But, I mean, it's easy for people's views to be oversimplified in a very large public debate.
I mean, in terms of some of the issues, I mean, you say you've been painted as an extreme right-winger.
No, some people have tried that. Not very successfully, but they've tried it.
And you came to prominence in part over your opposition to this law that we just talked about in Canada, proposing the use of preferred pronouns for transgender people. Just for clarity.
Mandating them.
Yeah.
Right.
Saying that you should do it.
No, that's not what mandate means. It means that you have to do something. Like Canada is trying to force people, right? Take your rights away. They're trying to force you to do something that realistically within your rights you don't have to do. They're trying to change their constitutional laws. No small group of individuals should be able to force people to do that. That's the first thing.
No, that you had to do it.
Right, you had to do it by law. But just for clarity, do you think a trans woman is a real woman?
You see it like...
I don't really like the way those questions are formulated. I don't know what that means. What do you mean a real woman?
Okay. Before he explains himself, okay, humans transmogrifying a body to be different than how it is isn't as new as we believe, right? Like, it's actually a very old form of science. Like, it is, and it's called alchemy. That's what alchemy was. And to a lot of people, the idea of alchemy is just like turning minerals to different minerals, like sand to gold, dust, and all this type of shit. But there was also a darker aspect of it where people would try to transmogrify a body, meaning just they would try to cut parts of an animal off and attach it to another part of an animal to create a new being, a homunculus. And, you guys can actually watch a show that will help you understand an aspect of this. It's an anime show called Full Metal Alchemist, right? Now, yes, it's anime, and so most of it is fictionalized, but in concept, it's pretty much what it is, right? And in the show, they look at people that do that, right? That try to, create homunculus beings as like evil human beings, because they are, right? They take like a little girl and they mix her with a dog, right? And they're doing weird shit. And the thing that people don't understand is like that is what transgenders are doing. Like, that is what they are doing. They're doing a dead form of science that was killed long ago because we all came to a consensus that this shit is unnatural and not right. A long time ago. Far before like technology had ever gotten to a point that we can like see transportation in the way that we see it and media. A long time ago, we came up with this. And now, for some reason, somebody chose to like bring back that dead science, that evil science, and try to make us believe that it's good science because human beings are choosing themselves to transmogrify their body. It doesn't make sense.
It depends what you think a real woman is, but do you think a trans woman is a woman?
No.
Why not?
Because I think that women are capable, generally speaking, of having babies, and they have female genitalia, and they have an XX chromosome, and I think the biological markers are relevant. It doesn't necessarily mean that I don't think that people should be treated with respect and dignity if they happen not to fit easily into a gender category. That's a different issue.
Right.
But it's a matter of definition, and I actually think it's a foolish argument.
I mean, you've just clarified that, though. You don't think that a trans woman is a woman. And do you think that that is what is behind or explains your opposition to this idea of a law mandating you to use a preferred pronoun, is because you don't actually believe that that's the truth, that a trans woman is a woman and therefore you can't use that pronoun?
No.
She's trying so hard to get him caught up in some shit, but they are completely two different things. They're two different things. If you're somebody that believes in respect, you believe if somebody tells you something about them, for you to respect that person, you will try to abide to whatever it is, right? If I run into somebody and their mom says, hey, this is my son, his name is James, and that's what we call him. And then I go up to the son and I'm like, hey, James. And James says, dog, I don't like being called James. Call me Jay, bro. I'll call them Jay out of respect for them because they want me to call them Jay, right? But their mom told me their name is James. I know their name is James. Nothing is going to change the fact that their government name is James. So if a cop was ever to come to me and ask me about Jay, in a serious capacity, I would have to say, yeah, I know Jay. His name is James Elworth. Blah, 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 blah. Because that's a fact. That's just the fact. You know what I mean? You can't change that.
No, that's not my argument at all.
Really?
Yeah, really. My argument is that the government shouldn't compel voluntary speech.
No, but I know what your argument is, and
No,
you've
but
made
that's
it very
really
clearly.
it.
But
No, but that's
behind,
exactly it.
but
There's
the
no behind.
motivation
There's no
behind
motivation
it.
behind it.
But you don't believe
I
a
wouldn't
trans
put
woman is a woman.
everything on online in my life to take the stance I did unless I had thought that through very deeply. And I've thought it through very deeply. There aren't hidden motivations that have to do with some arbitrary prejudice against trans people.
They want you to have one.
It's pure and simply this. There's never been a time in English common law history where the government compelled speech, and the Canadian government dared to do that. And that was unacceptable. And they masked it with this show of compassion for the oppressed, and I don't buy it.
Right,
Yeah,
but you would, as I think you said, at an individual level, if somebody asked you, if somebody asked you to use a particular
It's like I said, at an individual level, if James is telling me, call me James, I'm going to call you James. But you are not going to come to me now and tell me, oh, you better make sure to call all of us James, because that's what is supposed to happen. And by law, it said, no, I'm not doing that. Like, why the fuck am I going to change the way I think about things and the way I look at the world just to call y'all James? Like, no, nigga, I'm going to call you your name. And until you tell me, hey, I would prefer to be called this, that's what it is, right? And that's what's going on with this, the feminists and their dispute with the transgender and all this bullshit. It's like, transgender people don't understand, like, dude, you are going to be put in one of the two boxes, whether you like it or not. All right? That's not going to change. Even the people that support you look at you in that way when they first meet you. You're either a man or a woman, right? Whether or not you got all that weird fucking makeup and random bullshit you guys put on yourself, it doesn't matter. You can cover yourself in whatever. People are going to look at you and be like, that's one ugly chick, or that's one ugly nigga. Like, one of the two, right? Because with that shit on your faces, y'all look ugly as fuck. I'm not even going to lie. But people are going to look at you as one of the two, man or woman. And then until you come up to me and tell me, hey, my name, I'm actually a female, and Cheryl, can you treat me like this? Then I'd be like, all right, cool. I'll call you they, right? Just to show respect to you. But I don't believe in they as the proper term to address people. So no, out in the world, that's not the energy that I'm going to walk out with.
And then you would do so.
Well, I have.
You have?
Yes.
Right, fine.
Yes.
Let's talk about feminism. Are you a feminist?
No, not as it's currently defined, certainly not.
Like, men are the only real feminists left. Women aren't feminists. The majority of women are ready to teach their females, their daughters, that it's okay to sleep with 1,000,000 men and get dick down and have a bunch of kids with men that you don't know who the father is. They're the ones teaching their kids to go to jail and not know how to deal with their emotions and get angry. And as much as women talk about emotional accountability and all of these things, the stats show women are the ones that raise the worst people in our society, bro. Of course, I'm not trying to take men out of the equation. Men do their own dirt. But have you guys ever thought about why it is that a man does something? Why do you guys think historically men have ever done things? Because women tend to act like, oh man, there were always just these bad men that used to do bad things, and now we're in the common era where it's like, oh, women are good and men were bad, which is completely bullshit, because if you looked at history, there were bad men that were supported by bad women that did bad things together. Both of them were a team. They were shitheads together, okay? They would pillage together. They would rape together. They would do it all together. It's the fact. All right, in plantations, it wasn't just the male doing the dirt. That woman would do the dirt with all of those guys in the goddamn kitchen, and then the kid would come out looking a different color, and then the plantation owner would ask her, who the heck did she sleep with? She'd say, oh, I slept with Thomas, the guy you gave your uncle's name. Then he would go and kill Thomas, and then she would be there like, oh, I'm chilling, I did nothing consistently, let me go and live my... Like, that's what history is. But then the way women love to replay it is like, men abused us and men did that. It's like, no, they didn't do that.
No, well, in any other definition?
Well, I think that anybody who doesn't think that the competitive landscape should be opened up for equality of opportunity is not thinking. And so everyone's interests are better served if people have as equal access to opportunity to display their talents and to manifest their talents in the world as possible. So in that sense, certainly. But feminism now, and this is why it's so deeply unpopular, a very small minority of women in the UK identify as feminists. And the reason for that is it's primarily become an ideological weapon. And it's an ideology that I detest, actually, the ideology that it's associated with, collectivist ideology.
Right. I mean, okay, and that's your view about feminism. Are you a feminist?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a very proud feminist. And when I was a special advisor in government, I worked on women and equality issues. And I was very proud, actually, of a piece of legislation I got on the statute book with my former boss, Harriet Harman.
Again, this is the issue I have. Do you guys never find it funny that the women that are always the first to be like, yo, oh yeah, I'm a proud feminist, I'm here for women equality, always look like the white women that never had to work for shit? Like, it always seems, and clearly this lady, maybe she's Hispanic or so, I don't know. I'm looking at her and I'm like, dude, when are we gonna see the black women, right, from the ghetto, right, from like the hood, right, when do we get to see those women platform to talk about females equality? It's always the women in the C-suite that like have had life handed to them, bro, that came from good families, went to good colleges, had good jobs all throughout. It's always these women that have realistically had no struggles in their lives talking about, yes, I'm a feminist, talking about female equality, and they never do anything in their own lives to change anything. They could actually use their money to start some stuff. No, the way that they think they're making some change is with their voices, by talking. But it's like no one gives a fuck about what you're saying because you don't even live what you talk.
And yeah, I'm very, very proud of being a feminist, hence my pink dress.
Oh, well, all right. Obviously reverting to type then in the pink dress.
Absolutely, well.
You would like men to...
Again, women equate what does pink dress have to do with feminism? You see what women do? They try to steal things that should be a free-for-all for humanity. Like, all of us should be able to like pink, right? But then it's like, hence my pink dress. It's like, what the fuck does that have to do with feminism? Feminism should simply be that you want the best for women. If that's the case, then of course men are feminists. Most men would have to be feminists because they want intrinsically the best for their wives, for their daughters, for their mothers, for any female in their sphere. There's like, unless the dude is like a psycho, in which case there are clearly women that are psychos. Men want the best for their kids, and the numbers and the stats show that men are raising better kids far out than women are. And so it shows you men care about the development of their kids, especially women. In a lot of households, it shows you women are women are teaching other women how to be street whores. I'm just going to say it. Women are the ones teaching their daughters that it's okay to go out there and sleep with other people. Men are the ones teaching their daughters that you should take care of your chastity. Don't give it to everyone. You are special. Relationships are special. You should treat it as such. Why is it that people think that men aren't feminists, bruh? Men are bigger feminists than women are. We care. We care about what happens to our daughters. We don't want to see them kidnapped by some random dude because she wants to go just backpacking around Europe sleeping with a bunch of people. Liam Neeson's Taken is proof that men are fucking feminists, because in that situation, if a man and a woman got a call from a random motherfucker saying your daughter has been fucking kidnapped and you need to come and get that person, who do you think is more likely to, if the cops can't figure anything out, go and try to find the daughter? The man or the woman? Of course it's the man, because men, if to protect their kids, will do anything. I will kill a nigga. I will die because that's my progeny. I would rather die than watch my kid die. I would rather put myself in danger than watch my kid die. What will a woman do? She will cry and put it on somebody else. It's somebody else's job to go and get my child. It's somebody else's job to bring them back to me safe. It's like women cannot be the greatest. They don't have their best interest at heart. So y'all aren't even feminists.